Lionel, let's start with Vegas. Can you believe how big Summer League has become out here?
Yes, I can remember playing at Cal State LA and Loyola Marymount, and not very many people in the stands, and they actually had pros that were in the league playing in the Summer League. They had their own teams, and we had officials that just came out to stay in shape to ref. Mm-hmm. Now it's a well-oiled machine. I think Warren Ligari has done a great job. He's partnered with the NBA TV, and then they got ESPN involved. There is a tournament now. They're selling merchandise. The place is sold out every day. And top players are coming and playing. It used to be not all the top players would play in Summer League, but now they're all at least initially starting. If they get dinged or something, they can go home. But it's good for the league. They're talking about the league. And this along with free agency, is just taking the exposure of the league to a different level.
I know when you played, you would have loved these contracts. Can you believe what, I think they said 40% of the league was free agents. People are getting a ton of money. It feels like the league is as healthy as it's ever been, but I don't know. You've coached it, played in it. Is it in a good spot?
It's in a very good spot. Financially, fan appreciation, and when you have this kind of exposure and the fans appreciate it, they come from all over the country to come to the Summer League. To watch their favorite team. It's like people going to Florida or Arizona for spring training. And so that's a good thing, and we're talked about all year long. And the league has gone to where the players are becoming rock stars. And as long as they keep it in perspective that it's still a passion but a job, and come out and do their thing and not think because they got paid that they've arrived, but continue to work hard. Nobody has a problem with that, and I like the free agency setup because so many teams were able to change their circumstances, and they're going to be better when nobody thought they could. Everybody's waiting through the draft, 5-year plan, 6-year plan, but with the free agency the way it was and the salary cap going up the way it has, everybody was able to make some deals, and a lot of people had money.
How does it work for a coach that's trying to get back in? Your resume speaks for itself. You've been a head coach successfully at a couple spots. Players, we get how they try to get their name out there and want to get picked up by a team. How does it work when I've seen you on NBA TV and different things, but how did you get back in with the Lakers?
Well, you keep knocking on the doors, and hopefully somebody will want to interview you, or you get interviewed and you get an opportunity. But there's only 30 jobs, so it's difficult to get in, and there's a lot of young people that are working their way up and working their way in. So as the league transitions from the old school coaches to the new school coaches, it becomes a little more difficult. The same with players. There's a lot of young players in the league, and there's a lot of veteran players that are transitioning to where they're on 1 or 2 year contracts and trying to stay in the league. And so the same holds true for me, and I'm just happy for the opportunity with the Lakers, and I'm excited, and it's going to be a huge challenge. But as I tell people, I'd rather have a challenge of having to win than not having the challenge and nobody expects you to win. So I'm looking forward to it.
So with that talent the Lakers now have, 2 very high-level talented players and others now added to that roster, what do you think of the roster you guys have with the Lakers?
Well, I'm excited. I think that, the front office did a great job of identifying what we needed, and also being able to secure those players under contract. And so, that's the beauty of it. You have to identify, and then you have to go out and get the guys to come. So we've done both of those things, and we got a blend of veterans and young players, and we'll see what happens.
What's the most difficult part, you would say, for a coach now, a head coach in this league? Is it how much of it is coaching, and how much of it is really just managing people?
Well, it's always been about managing people. The coaching part, the X's and O's, you can put whatever set of X's and O's out there, but you got to develop relationships. You got to understand that the players have their own personal aspirations, and you got to, with your relationship, let them understand that you want them to achieve what they want personally, but the team has to come first, because ultimately it's a team game. And so those are the challenges, communicating, motivating, and being flexible as well, because some players come in and they have certain skills that they think that they can expose in the game, but you have to convince them that they need a different role.
Is it more difficult if you have you guys have high-level star players, LeBron and Anthony Davis, or is it a case-by-case basis with some of these guys?
Well, it's always case-by-case because they're personal human beings. But the thing that makes them having great players is who are they as people? And when you have high-level competitors, high-level character, then it's a challenge, but you know that when we go in the gym, they're going to lace them up and go to work. It's having good players that want to be treated differently, don't want to practice, don't want to be a good teammate, then you have issues.
There was a chance, a lot of speculation, that the Lakers were going to get Kawhi Leonard. That kind of shifted. So now the Los Angeles battle looks pretty awesome for fans. You're new to the Lakers at least. What do you think about what that rivalry could become here for the next couple of years?
It's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. Every time somebody goes to Staples Center, they're going to see high-class basketball, high-class players. When we play each other, it's going to be unbelievable. It's kind of like the Yankees and the Mets or the Cubs and the White Sox, although with both teams being as good as they have potential to be, it's going to be on a different level. And I think that with LA teams being strong, it's going to reverberate through the whole league.
I know you watch everything. You watch all the teams. So what would you tell our Sacramento fans, Kings fans, that it's been tough, you know that, but they've been building some young pieces. What do you think of the Kings?
Well, I just think that with any time you have a group of young players together, it's important that you develop a culture and lay a foundation of how you're going to be. Whether you talk about we're going to play fast, we're going to be defensive, we're going to play together, we're going to play hard, and we're never going to give up. And I think that the last couple of years the Kings have done that, and this year they've gone out and they've added a couple of veterans. And it's how well the development is. Everybody develops, but you need them to develop quickly. Mm-hmm. And if they develop quickly, then you'll be in the mix, and you'll come out of nowhere, and everybody will start talking about you, and you're a playoff contender. I think Philly did that. Yeah. They weren't really talked about. Boston did that. They had some down years, and all of a sudden, bam, everything took off. They got a couple of extra young pieces that wound up being really good, and then, so it's all about the talent. And I think the Kings have some talent, and it just has to develop winning mentality versus just a playing well mentality.
Now, you've known Luke Walton his entire life, played with his dad, of course. What will he learn from this second job? I mean, everybody gets their first head coaching job. You hope to get a second. You've had that happen. What will he learn now as a second-time head coach?
Well, I think the first time, to go 24-0 with the Warriors when Steve Kerr was out, and to be a part of a team that had unbelievable winning percentage and championship pedigree, I think you can get dulled into believing that that's how it is for everybody else. But then you go away. Curry didn't come. Klay Thompson didn't come. Draymond Green didn't come. None of those guys came with. So in that regard, now you have to go and establish a culture yourself. And I think that after having experience without those guys, with a little bit of a layover or lag from having been with the Warriors when they were great, now he understands that everybody else has to establish what they're going to be with the talent that they have. And he might want to be the Warriors, but if you don't have the talent to be the Warriors, you got to be whatever your talent says. And I think that he will have learned a big lesson from that experience in LA.
All right, last thing, as a former player too, maybe more to this, and even a fan of the game, does it feel like it's as wide open as ever? I mean, last time this year, it's the Warriors, Warriors, Cavs, you guys, Clippers, Bucks, Rockets. I mean, it feels like we could probably list 10 teams and everybody's got a pretty good shot.
Well, obviously, when you start the season, there are a lot more teams that have in their mind that they're a contender, and they have the right to do that. Obviously, as you start the season, things start happening. Some people just don't play as well as they thought they were going to. Some people don't fit in as well as you thought they were going to. You have injuries, and then everybody starts settling. But I like when there's not – I don't mind the dominant team, but I like when anybody has a chance. It just creates so much more excitement around the league. And when you don't know, you have to go out there and play. But at some point, the dominant teams are going to step up and be dominant. And they may not be dominant like the Warriors for 5 or 6 years, but they're going to be dominant in that particular year. And there's going to be a lot of expectations on the Bucks. There's going to be expectations on the Sixers. There's going to be expectations on the Lakers, the Clippers. Houston's already had expectations, and now, you know, they're like, hey, the window's closing, so there's going to be those expectations for them. And it's good to have expectations, and as long as they're realistic, because there's only going to be one champion.
Yeah.
And you want to go out there and compete all year long, give your fans a good product, and hopefully, you know, get to the finals and have an opportunity to win it.
Well, Kings fans don't want me to do this, but I'm going to wish you luck. I mean, that's knowing you for years as one of the good guys. But even though you're in LA, it's going to be a fun rivalry too. With DeMarcus back there, and the Kings always trying to beat you guys. So I'll be rooting for you, but we'll also I know the Kings will be trying to beat you.
Well, thank you. I mean, I've been rooting for them when I've been out. There's teams I like to watch, and they were one of them. And now I'll be trying to beat them.
The Drive.